Hello. Hello. So, good morning to all of you. It's my pleasure to host you in this corner today to explain a bit more what will be the energy transition, what is the energy transition for Iveco Bus today. In Iveco Bus, we are in reality already on the road to the new energy future. On this path to the energy transition, Iveco Bus is at the forefront of the industry. The electric transition specifically is already a reality for us. Iveco Bus is a leading brand, and we have already contributed to a more sustainable world. You will see this in the presentation. Iveco Bus aims to fulfill its deep commitment of the energy transition, while maintaining highest levels of excellence and productivity for our customers. Let's start by introducing the group. Iveco Group is in reality 5 business units. Iveco Capital, the financial services, Elias and Iveco Bus, 2 brands for public transport. Then we have the colleagues of commercial vehicle, light, medium and heavy. We have the powertrain activities, and we have the specialty vehicles with firefighting, defense, and mining vehicles. In the industry, we are leveraging on 2 mega trends, sustainability and servitization. These 2 trends are indissociable. You need to start with sustainability, with our product offering, and today, we have best-in-class and wider product range in this regard. We've been the first ones to have the diesel, for instance, with high SCR, without EGR, from the very beginning. We've been already present in CNG and biomethane for more than 20 years, 24 exactly. And we started electromobility with trolleybuses already in the last century, with full hybrid driveline more than 10 years ago, and then we started to deliver our first elect buses with batteries more than 3 years ago. Regarding servitization, you cannot go to sustainability, it's not like in the old time, if you don't have the servitization in integration. First, it's connectivity as a standard. Today, you cannot have a bus elect without connectivity, it is impossible. Especially for the telematic and the fleet management. It is not like a thermal engine. To manage a battery, you need to have all the data available in real time. And then we are already progressing towards assisted and autonomous buses. At a glance, what is Iveco Bus today? We are more than 5,000 people around the world in all continents. We are 80% based in Europe, but we rely a lot on this first participation to Busworld Turkey to extend our reach, and we believe we can do so. As anticipated, we have 2 brands, Iveco Bus and Elias. Very important. This is a key differentiator versus many other elect actors in this public transport field. We have 175 dealers around the world with more than 1,000 service points. This is unique. We have delivered in 2021 roughly a bit more than 9,000 units worldwide, which is positioning us in the best 10 manufacturers in the world. And inside our group today, Iveco Group, the bus activity represents 11% of the turnover. Our global presence, as just anticipated, is also leveraging on our manufacturing presence. We have 10 manufacturing sites. Most of them are in Europe. We have 2 sites in France. One is remarkable because you can see here, we have 1 plant dedicated already 100% to elect bus. We are the only OEM, traditional OEM, let me say, to have already a plant dedicated 100% to electric. This is unique. We have also other city buses plant in south of France. We have minibuses in Italy, minibuses as well in Australia, minibuses in China, minibuses in Brazil, end. I keep the best for the end. We have our biggest factory in Czech Republic, where we produce each day more than 21 vehicles per day. It is the biggest plant in Europe. This is mainly dedicated to, for the one who knows this nomination, low entry buses and normal floor buses. This is the best-in-class plant in Europe. And we started this year, you will see on our booth, to produce as well this best-in-class range Crossway in Sakarya, here in Turkey, because the demand is increasing. And we are enlarging our portfolio because soon we will have, we already revealed it, a Crossway low entry elec. At a glance in Europe, we are at more than 7,700 units last year, which places us number 2 in Europe. And in reality, we are also number 1 in some countries. We put France, Italy, Czech Republic, but in reality, we could add, was not the case last year, but several times we were number 1 in Austria, we were number 1 in Slovakia, so several countries. As of today, there is not any more country in Europe where you cannot find massively a Crossway. The last country where we are delivering a lot of units these days is Portugal, to be very precise. As already shared, we have a huge network where we can rely on to maintain our traditional buses, and we are training them already to host the new energies. First, the biogas, since 20 years, then all the hybrid. We have already more than 2,000 units fleet of full hybrid with elec driveline to maintain in Europe, and more than 2 years that we are delivering elec buses, so we can rely on all these service points. Our values, because this is really key to understand our dedication to energy transition and to electric propulsion. So we really rely on 4 pillars. Sustainability, already announced, because we want to take care of people. We know the world is changing. People more and more are taking care about the environment, and we want to take care of this path and their consideration. Second is technology. Nothing will happen if you don't have the right technology. This is where we are excellence. Let's say we research as Iveco Bus to give the best out of the available technology and already anticipating the next one. All this, the aim is to give a high value in the value chain to the operators, to the public transport authorities. And this is achieved by having the best-in-class TCO, specifically on elec buses. I already shared, but it is even better when you have it formalized like this. We were best-in-class with the high SCR technology without EGR from the very beginning, when all the new homologation rules changed. So we have a long path of leading the technology on combustion engine, being also, for instance, the first ones to have all the HVO, BTL, XTL, new generation of diesel, biodiesel, let's say. As anticipated, we were more than 24 years present in CNG and bio-CNG. We developed more than 10 years ago our hybrid range, and we put it together with electric because this gave us the opportunity to have already the driveline. So we have already, if we put all together, more than 2,000 full hybrid vehicle running, plus 1,000 elec running. The battery electric vehicles. So this is a vehicle you can also find on our booth. It is available with fast charging, slow charging. We have a range up to 300 kilometers autonomy, and with a capacity to go on a 12 meter up to 90 passengers. So the benefit of the electric, I think we all agree, is zero NOx, zero emission, zero fuel, so zero particle, zero CO2, and the silence. Silence is really becoming also a key criteria on the energy transition, sustainability, and environmental care. On this product also, I would like to mention that we have one of the wider range, because we are able to start from 9 meter 10 meter, 12 meter, 18 meter. And we have all the setup of batteries to adapt for the needs. Because in reality, some prefer to have more density, more power for longer autonomy, but some are able to pay a bit less power with less batteries and to recharge midday. So we are able to customize by mission, by territory. This is also very important because this is for the next steps, our ambition. I spoke already a lot about the product range and the positioning, but we really aim to improve with all the chain, the supplier, our dealers, the plant, but also by definition, the ones that are defining the rules, the public transport authorities, the customers, the operators, the people on board of the vehicle, the operational performance. This is key. This is really our next step to improve the quality, taking the opportunity of a new technology to set a new standard in terms of operational performance. This is possible with this new alternative powertrain. As said, we rely on data with this new alternative powertrain to anticipate any failure, for instance. This is feasible today, was much less before. To achieve all this, we noticed that the world is changing. We cannot do everything ourselves. It is impossible. For instance, the data management. What to do with the data? How to improve the service linked to the data collection. Because to collect data is one thing, to use them properly it's something else. So in this field, we believe collaboration and partnership, which is a new setup of the industry, a new mindset, is really key. And at the end, the life cycle is moving from a product life cycle to a service life cycle. I will come back to this point. Sustainable priorities, the one you saw before, but with a different light. What is key, we all understood why we are all shifting to ELEC. It's to reduce the CO2 emission. The particle emission, the NOx emission, we already decreased them a lot with the new rules on diesel. On biogas, we have some further steps to come, for instance, in reducing the NOx, in reducing other items. But in reality, the CO2 emission, a great contributor to the reduction will be the electric drive lines. So this is key for this trend on electrification. Then, on all this chain, as I anticipated, from the supplier to the manufacturing, to the logistic, to the operator, we need to have the right workplace and the safe workplace, down to the customer using the vehicle by definition. So this imposes as well to change totally the life cycle of the vehicle. For instance, when we speak to a supplier on electromobility for a battery, we don't go only to the supplier. We go to the tier 1, to the tier 2, to the tier 3. Because once more, the product safety is key. And on top of this, having this view from all the chain, from the beginning of the chain, is changing completely the behavior of all the ecosystem. And at the end, to do this, we are trying also to have another trend, which is inclusion and engagement. Because believe me, to change from a traditional OEM to be best in class in ELEC requires a lot of change in the mindset. And at the end, this is a new pillar we have engaged since several months now, and it will be key for the success to remain at the front end of this electric transition. We have already achieved, we were part of CNHI until last December, and last year we achieved, as Iveco Bus, in our supply chain, in our plants, already a lot of sustainable indices. I will not comment all of them, but the one that we are the more proud is the Platinum EcoVadis Sustainability Reality, because we are the unique OEM in this playground. Other indices, I will not the same comment them all, but it is really key on the production, and I will give you some examples, for instance, of concrete action, very concrete, just to say that it is not only about producing electric vehicles, it is also on how we produce them, how we deliver them, how we operate them, how we maintain them, and at the end of the life, for instance, how to recycle them or to reuse them for a second life. So this is all these sustainability indices that are giving us the confidence that we are moving in the right direction. The plant. I told you we have a plant fully dedicated to ELEC. What does it mean? First, you need to have the facility with a great setup. We added a dedicated test track, an ELEC test track with testing facility for ELEC. We have, by definition, again, all the certification. I will not name all of them, but environmental, energy, etc., safety. This plant has more than 40 years of experience, already with new technologies, trolley buses, biogas. They were always at the front end of the innovation. They have already 10 years of conversion to ELEC drivelines, as I told you, with the hybrid and then the electric vehicle production. And for instance, we implemented a full second floor of activity, which was new in our industry as bus. Why? Because I told you we have small vehicles, wider vehicles, and articulated. So like that, as you can see, this is the second floor. All the operators are working in safety, because once more, the safety is not only for the bus to be operated, it is also on all the chain, from the supplier to the manufacturing, to the logistic, deliveries, operation, etc. Another important path now is to really further optimize. We know there is a lot of pressure on price, on TCO, etc. And we realize that to go to zero waste, the same. It is sustainable, but it really improves as well all the production chain. So going zero waste, landfill, we are able as well to improve the TCO of the vehicle from the building at the very beginning of the process. The same for water. We have a recycling of water, only evaporation, where it's tough to manage, but only evaporation. We recycle of the water because by definition, all the vehicles are tested for water leakage after production. And the water is 100% recycled. Another important point on this new transition energy, let's say, trends, is to arrive to a kind of long-lasting, with a second life, with recycling, etc. And this is where, with our range, we worked on stainless steel, recyclable stainless steel, homemade molded, strong, that we could reuse several times. On these trends also, was very important not to be alone. Because sometimes if you are alone on a trend, it means someone else is preparing something else and you might end up not being, let's say, at the right place in the ecosystem. So at the very beginning, several years ago, we started to have the interoperability at European level with all these players. So, of course, some other OEM, some competitors, but as well all the chain, from the suppliers of the battery to suppliers of charging systems. And at the end, we managed to test our vehicle from the very beginning in 12 countries, having the approved standardization for our vehicle. And we started this path in 2017, and we achieved the certification in 2021. We invested on this path more than 24 million euros. It is not for granted. You can see here, on our test track, remember I told you in our plant, a path to arrive to this target was to have our own ELEC test track. Our own ELEC test track with charging system. All the charging system, pantograph top-down, up, bottom-up, etc., charging, several suppliers by definition, which will allow the vehicle, for instance, to be reused. It is not that you have a vehicle that is customized and can go in operation only in one place for one mission. We can, for instance, at midlife, or we could consider also at other period, change the mission of the vehicle adapt the vehicle for a second life as already anticipated. Also, in terms of batteries, as I said, we have some manufacturer commitment. This is a key differentiator. We are simulating mission by mission. At the very beginning, also the customers found this strange. But why do you know where we want to operate the buses? It was a question we didn't have before on a thermal engine. Now we need to know, to customize with the customer, what is the mission profile. So we need to go in detail at the very beginning to really give the utmost of the setup of the battery and the driveline. And this will give a sustainable supply chain, because it could be easy to say, no, I don't know, I will put more energy on board. In reality, the customer would pay more. At the end, there would be more material to recycle at the end of life. So it would be a lose-lose consideration. That's why the sustainable supply chain relies on the simulation. On all of this, by definition, we are also at the upfront of the regulation, anticipating some of them. And for instance, we, by definition, comply with the R100.2. Simulation already mentioned. Recyclability. We are working a lot on this path. I think we already engaged some work, but I would preserve for some months ahead more news in this, because we believe this will be key for OEM, which is not the case today, to be also more engaged in recyclability. Mobility solution. I think you understood. You cannot today anymore sell an e-bus as a commodity. It's not a product. It's a full integrated system. First of all, who pays? How to pay? What is the financial scheme? This is also changing a lot, and we have internally, as already said, a portion of the company dedicated to this field of financial services. Pre-owned vehicle. Why? Because end of life or second life, we need also to propose this possibility to our customers. We have also this in our basket. Change the mentality, the mindset, but also the skills. By definition, to maintain a combustion engine is not the same than to maintain an electric driveline and the battery. So we have, as you noticed, we have more than 1,000 service points. You add also all the operators, our customers, training, and this is the role of our internal academy. And we have more than 30 technical centers around the world that are able to train for electric drivelines. Another key point is the parts. On a thermal engine, the same. After a certain period, warranty period, whatever, there was this need to have maybe less expensive parts, etc. There was a competition, at least, between OEM-sourced parts and other parts. On electric vehicles, we believe there will be maybe less parts to be consumed, for instance, brake pads, etc. But at the end, it will be key to have genuine parts from the OEM. So we will put in place, to also address this typology of market, even more remanufactured replacement parts. For instance, today, when we collect an old engine, we are able to renew it. We have a factory dedicated to this. A thermal engine, we take the old engine, we renew it, and we are able to offer it as a remanufactured engine, less expensive than a new one. Tomorrow, we will do the same with the main electronic and electric components. And at the end, to do this, the same. With the data anticipation, etc., we will be able to arrive to a proactive maintenance, and we will be able to have an advanced logistic. When the vehicle will be on the road, detecting a failure in a parts, the parts will be directly ordered, and all the logistic chain will already start, even without the worker in the workshop knowing the part is ordered. It will be all automatic. At the end, I already mentioned it, this cannot happen if there is not a common understanding between the customer, the operator, the public transport authority, all the chain. And to do this, we are implementing new ways of working with design book and bus configurator. The same, up to now, maximum you choose the fabrics of the seats, air conditioning, not conditioning, automatic gearbox, manual gearbox. As anticipated, it is really key on an elect vehicle to define the mission. We can change after, we can adapt it, but from scratch, each time you will change the mission, you need to customize it. And this is what we are doing already with this configuration. No transition, no electric vehicle without data. I think I said it already 3 times, but I think we need to continue in this path because we still feel some customers are a bit reluctant to share data. And if we don't share data, the vehicle will not be well adapted to the mission. We have already remote diagnostics. We will have also proactive services giving already digested data like recommendation to the customers. And we can go much further, as said, we have fleet management where in our control room we have data scientists that can give already anticipated indication to the operators. So this exists on heavy bus range, already on the thermal engines, diesel, gas, etc. And by definition, we cannot imagine as Iveco Bus any elect vehicle without this data management. I think I'm now at the end. It was a pleasure for me to present this elect pass from Iveco Bus. We will have the pleasure with the team to remain during all this exhibition. Just at the corner, you will be able to see already on this booth our 12-meter elect and some pieces of the rest of the range. So it was my pleasure this morning to be with you. Have a good day. Thanks a lot.